Thank you so much for coming on here and chatting with us. And I'm so excited to hear all about your business. I think you guys are such boss women, and I just am so excited to hear all of it. So if we could start out by just telling the folks who you are.
So the three of us have actually been working together for more than 13 years. I think it's about more than 13 years now. And we first began working together when I was still co-owner of Modern Masters started that in the late 90s all the way through the 2000s. Do you know who Modern Masters is? Is that why? Yeah.
What? Like I recommend the varnish, the Modern Masters varnish all the time, and
Oh,
you're just
great.
blowing my mind. So, yeah,
Well, we have since sold the company, so we no longer own it. And so
still.
I can start from the beginning actually. So I've been in the decorative painting industry for about 30 years, maybe a little bit more than 30 years. And I first started out in Toronto with my sister and my brother-in-law, Laurie and Andre Rittens. Laurie now goes by Laurie Lemaire. And we opened a school there, and it was the first one in Canada, and I believe it was the first one of three schools in North America at the time. And we taught a ton of people. We had more than 5,000 students go through our school, and I like to brag that it was before the internet, so everything was done with, snail mail and newspaper advertisements and all that kind of stuff. And then after about 10 years, I was at an industry trade show, and I met my now husband, Jim Rogers, who was the owner and creator of Modern Masters. And I moved down to California from Canada, and together we ran Modern Masters for about 18 years. And I focused on the marketing and planning, and he was, making all the crazy stuff and working with Disneyland and all that kind of stuff. So it was when I was at Modern Masters that I had the privilege to start working with my two partners here, with Regina and Gina, who are both experts at what they do. And like I said earlier, we've been working together for about 13 years. So after Jim and I sold the company, I really wanted to continue working with these two. And we found that there was definitely a need in the industry for a platform where the master artisans could pass down their experience, knowledge, expertise in what they do to the next generation. And the next generation, of course, likes instant satisfaction, so they are always online, and we thought, what a better way than to put it on an online platform. It just so happened to align with COVID. That was not planned. So it helped us. And so I hate to say that I had COVID, so, it wasn't fun. But because of COVID, the instructors that we were starting out with, our founding instructors, I guess, or our founding members, it gave them the time to be able to actually sit down and outline classes and record it. And we went live on our first day, was July 22nd of last year. So we're just coming up to our first birthday. And we have instructors now in 3 countries. And we think it's an incredible opportunity to offer international in 4 countries. Sorry, 4 countries. And
I forgot the U.S.
I forgot the U.S. Yeah, and we think it's a wonderful opportunity for anyone in the world who wants to get into this line of business, or who is already in this business but wants to maybe learn something from another culture. So offering it international is like a really exciting thing for us. So that's my background. But Regina, you want to give a little of your background?
That's amazing.
Sure. I'm Regina Garay. Nice to meet everybody. I actually had a decorative painting and a mural studio myself. We focused more on commercial and hospitality, so we worked in airports, hotels, restaurants, boutiques, and we did everything from Venetian plaster to antique mirrors to murals to ornamental painting, gold leafing. And I ran the business with my brother. And just started to fall in love with the behind the scenes, the marketing and all that, and started working with different decorative painting brands, Modern Masters being one of them. And it just has led here. Sometimes, dominoes fall into your life, and it just and you just have to enjoy the journey and go with where it is. So that's my story.
So true. So true.
Gina, over.
I'm Gina Vivona, and I have no decorative painting background whatsoever, except that I work with these two lovely ladies. And my expertise comes in graphic design and advertising, and branding. And so it was a perfect fit to join forces. And what I've been doing for most of my life is branding other people and branding artists, photographers, potters, painters, everybody. So it was a really great fit, and it just happened to work out perfectly. And I love being able to contribute to this group. It's really great, and helping everybody, all the artists that we've been bringing in to our that are teaching on our platform. It's really been great to be able to help them and promote them and help expand the brand. So it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm also not a decorative painter. I just want to point that out. I'm also not a decorative painter. So I am daily inspired and in awe of our instructors and all the people I've met over the 30 years, because I just think what you guys do is amazing. I was watching some of your videos earlier, Andrea, and it's just like, I'm always.
Oh, Andrea has such cool work.
Yeah,
I love watching her.
Yeah,
blown away.
Thank you guys. And as you're all talking, I'm like, okay, we could have a solo episode with each and every one of you about like product creation and branding and just all of the things we could. So I might pitch you that later on. But.
It's actually the perfect storm, with the three of us together, because we each bring a different expertise to the table, and collectively, it's like, it's perfect. And all three of us also have very different personalities, which I think complement each other. So, I mean, Regina, Gina and I, we call her passionate. And I would say Gina's probably the most low-key, and I'm probably somewhere in between.
That's awesome, just to have a mix of different skills coming together.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys have, that's really an artist's dream, because typically, and one artist has to play the branding person and then the serious one, and like it's so cool to you guys can live in your own element and see what happens when that happens.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Awesome.
That's what we hear from the instructors all the time, is they want to focus on what their ability is, what their gift is, and the marketing and all that kind of stuff. They just are like, I can't do it. You can't do everything. So they just love coming on board, and we do all the hard work for them as far as the business side goes, and then they just teach their knowledge and stuff. It's great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How do you find these instructors?
That's a good question. So
so many different ways.
Yeah, so many different ways. So in the beginning, we picked out some of our instructors from our pocket, I guess you could say. So they were people that we've been close to in the industry and knew very well. And then as we've been going forward, we actually have a part of our website where teachers can go in and apply to be part of the platform. We get a lot of inquiries, but not necessarily, we don't necessarily accept them all, because we have a fairly high standard of who's going to be teaching. And we also don't want to have a lot of people teaching the same thing. I mean, maybe eventually we'll get to that, but not right now. And we do reach out to people. We'll put up an ad or something saying, we're looking for new instructors if we are, or a specific type of instructor, like cabinetry or something like that.
Ooh, oh, so what kind of classes do you offer there? I mean, it's very broad, and I was referred to you through Annie Margarita, which
yes. I love Annie.
Yeah.
She just released a new class. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I saw that.
Chinoiserie. Oh my God.
It's incredible. I can't believe right on camera, she's just painting away. She's drawing a peacock freehand. Okay, so here's my background. Now I'm going to just draw a peacock, because that's what you do. You just draw a peacock, and it's amazing. The feathers, the detail, and she walks you through how to do it. It's wow, what a great class.
Yeah. The skills that these artists have being so are a lot of them later in their careers, so they're very established and whatnot, and that's who you have.
Yeah, and we have a little bit of an age range. We just brought on a realistic watercolor artist. They're scary good, and she's fairly young in her business and starting out, all the way up to masters. But she's almost a prodigy in watercolor. And so it complements the different type of classes that we have, because we if you want to be a decorative painter or a muralist or have both, you can have classes on Venetian plaster, on just decorative finishes with layered plasters or stenciling or patterns. We have a pattern design class coming up, so that if you'd like to look at vintage textiles and create all of our patterns, the teacher guides you through that. Also, business courses, how to secure a contract. That's from Annie, just teaching you business. And we're also having classes coming up on mindfulness, and also the more left brain types of classes, such as financial or legal as well. So they're all kind of coming together and it's just a well-rounded, creative world on the platform.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that you can put it all in one spot too. You're taking the best of the best of the best and the best of their minds too, and you're just like, this is available. Do you buy per class, or is it like a Skillshare type thing, or?
You purchase it per class. So, if you're interested in this specific, and we let you know when the same teacher, brings on a new course, and you're able to meet, we're putting together a community so that everybody's able to meet and help support one another and help share.
Yeah, that's coming soon. We're really excited about that.
Can't wait.
That's awesome. So what makes up the perfect tutorial? So you have these artists who are really good at what they do, and some artists I've noticed don't teach as well. Sometimes they're really good at it, but getting it out and being a teacher is a whole nother element. Do you walk them through that, or do you pick just natural teachers?
It's great when they have some teaching abilities, because it's hard. It's hard to be on camera because you're teaching to an audience that isn't physically there. So it's hard to just teach to this void, and it takes a certain skill for sure to do that. It's amazing. But we do help guide the instructors and walk them through. We've put together tutorials ourselves for them, to give them the best foot forward and to help them towards success. We are trying to build an artist community, and we're trying to help them teach and build their artist community. So it's this turnover that we're all trying to come closer and connect more as a community instead of having everybody individual. So, and that takes a lot of planning and good materials to create a good course. And so we help them with that also. We talk to our instructors about, here's a document that you can consider for best practices. It's not important to be perfect, but it's important to be professional. And that professional level comes across when there's planning. So when you have an outline and you have some plan, you can sway a little bit, right? If something bumps and causes a little hiccup, you can just get over it and keep going. People are human, and it's easier to forgive a little mistake, but when you come somewhere and it feels haphazard and not organized, you're like, what am I doing here? These people are, crazy, and they don't know what they're doing. And when you spend that time to plan and orchestrate and organize just a little bit, so it feels professional, it shows that you care. And I think I hope at the end, that's what all the students walk away with, is that they feel that they got something great out of our instructors. They feel like the instructors care about them, because they really do. These instructors are amazing. They're great humans.
That's awesome. So if someone's listening to this and they're like, okay, I possibly want to do a tutorial one day, but I don't even know where to start, and they don't have quite your guidance yet. And what makes up the perfect tutorial?
I think it all comes back to that initial outline. When I call it the sun that all of the other planets revolve around. When you plan out your class, you have, your introduction and your middle and your parts. That will inform your entire course. And you can work from there, what makes you most comfortable, what kind of lighting, what kind of video, what kind of audio do you need? Because different teachers teach in different ways. Some may be a straight, I'm in the studio, I'm teaching you how to make samples. Others may be, okay, we're on the wall, on the ladder, let's do this, So you have to adjust for what mics, what video, what type of technology you're going to need for that. But it all comes down to that pre-planning. It's kind of like measure twice, cut once. That plan is going to get you to success.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
One thing that Gina always points out, that if you don't have good audio, that's a serious problem when you're doing the classes. So that's one thing that people should really think about, is to make sure that they have good audio, so the information is coming across clearly. And most of our teachers aren't buying a whole lot of special equipment. They're using their iPhone or Android or whatever they've got, because the quality is good enough now. And for their mics, they're using AirPods or whatever wireless device they have. So, but that's the most important thing. And I just wanted to touch again on what Gina said earlier about not being perfect. And I think that in these types of classes, it's almost important that they're not perfect, because when they make a mistake, or when something's drying too fast, or whatever it is, they can show how to fix it. So if people are having that problem, then they know how to address it when they have the same problem.
Oh yeah, I've noticed a lot of students are very hesitant to even sign up for a class like that, because they just don't think they can do it. And so just keeping in those small mistakes, or how to get around it, I think that's really great for students to just realize that. And even just talking about it right now, because a lot of the people, like a lot of students, as soon as they get in and I show them how to do a mural, they're like, okay, like I could maybe do this. But even just getting them to make that is the first step.
Right.
It's so hard. It's just convincing someone that they can do it. And it's so I fully believe that any artist, if you can draw or paint on a canvas, you can do a mural, or you can do Venetian plaster, like you can learn.
Agreed. It's so hard to take that first step, and it's so great to have somebody say, here's a hand, let me bring you on, let me show you how great it can be, and how you can create a business, how you can make a business, how you can elevate your business, if you just
that little
believe in yourself that much.
The comment that just came up that says, remember, it's just paint. That's actually my husband that just made that comment. but that was one of the things we used to tell people all the time. We're not, curing cancer or something. It's just paint, and you can always paint over it. You can always try it again, and you just let your freak flag fly, I guess, or whatever you want to say that. But yeah, I think another thing I wanted to mention actually is when Regina mentioned our community coming up. We also have in the works, for people who are maybe a little cautious about taking an online class, we're going to be offering soon one-on-one classes with some of our instructors, where they can have online live sessions with them, or we may be doing, or in addition, we'll be doing classes that may be 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever the length is for the class, where they're meeting with them once a week to do the techniques.
Oh wow, that's amazing. That's so cool. The internet is such an amazing thing.
Yeah,
it's wonderful
to be able to do that. And I'm sure that there's a cost difference between the one-on-one rather than going through one that's already made. But even if someone can't afford the one-on-one, just having something there that's already made for you that you can stop and pause and rewatch. That's amazing. And it costs so much less than going and driving to an artist.
Yeah,
Sitting with them in their studio, like we get the edited version that you guys have put together, which is just also something that I don't think people realize so much. It's just there's so many hours that go into first learning, and then videoing, and then editing, and you bundle all that together and you get the fast version. Yeah.
And it's available we say you have lifetime access to it, so they can always go back to it, or they can buy it when it's on sale and then watch it in the fall, or there's lots of things you can do when it's online.
That's perfect. And we are giving them a 50% off for this month, correct? It's
yes.
If you use the code Andrea50, that's ANDREA 50. You get 50% off. It's only for the next 30 days, right? So
That's right.
if they want to use it, you better get on that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, buy now and watch later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just take the step off the cliff. Just go.
Yeah, just push play.
Yeah, exactly. Just push play. Oh, as somebody just commented, what is your platform's name? So you just go to thepainthive.com. Is that what it is,
Right.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's perfect. And as you mentioned, having good audio earlier, I run into all the time. So I do murals outside, and all the time I'm thinking, oh, this would be a really good place for me to video. But there's construction work, there's highways around, and I've tried to video a couple times, and you're right, audio is just everything because they can see it happening, and if you can't hear or explain, there's so much. Yeah.
Ooh, try recording that and then doing a voiceover after.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Okay, I'll try that. But plus,
'Cause then
plus that, yeah, but plus that'll keep me from like talking in front of a bunch of construction workers that just look at me like, "What are you doing?"
yeah, then you don't lose all that great visual, and you can just, add the dialogue afterwards and explain how you did it all. That'd be
Oh,
fun.
okay, awesome. Do most people talk in your videos, or do they do voiceovers, or is it a mix of both, or?
A mix of both. Yeah, depending on what they're doing, it's video is a tool, just like, a trowel or a brush or whatever you're going to pull out of your toolbox, right? So whatever it is that is the best way to get that point across and to teach. Some people are showing hands, it's overhead, so they're showing hands down and they're not even on screen. They might poke in and say, hey, it's me, and then go back to work. And others are just on camera all the time. So there's just so many ways to do it.
Yeah. Do you have an editor? Do you have like an editor on staff, or is one of you doing the editing?
Actually, all the instructors are doing their own editing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And they're really great.
The tools have come a long way, and we give some pointers, try this and try that. Here's a little place that could use a little, smoothing out. But for the most part, they've really, the materials that we put together for them and the suggestions, they've been following, and they've been following it well, and they think that it's good. And when they have trouble, they give us a call and we work it out together. So they're not in it alone, but they do the work themselves. Yeah.
It's funny because one of the instructors did hire somebody to do the editing for her, and then found that it wasn't to what she liked because certain things were taken out that she really wanted in.
Yeah.
So, and then she edited her own course, and then it worked out so much better because she knew exactly, because when you film your own things, you know exactly what you've got and what you said, and you know what to put in. So they have full control over that to put together, rather than sit with an editor to say, oh yeah, please keep that, or take that out. It's a complete process for them.
Yeah, so true. I remember some of my first podcast episodes or tutorials, I was like, nobody is seeing this. So I edit it, and I don't care if I spend hours doing it. Like, it's going to be perfect. Yeah.
I just saw in the comments, we had two of our instructors just came up. One, Catherine Mills, who said, I hate editing. And then the other one, Lori Lemare, saying, I love editing. So it just really depends on the person.
Yeah, I actually like editing a lot. It's just it is very time consuming, but it's like you said.
Yeah.
Like,
I do too.
Nobody
I
knows,
agree.
Yeah, nobody knows your video like you know your video, so that's a very good point.
Yeah, you hire a professional, and they're going to cut out those mistakes that you want to keep in there, right?
Yeah,
Right. That's right.
yeah, or like the funny stuff that you do, and that it's just kind of that makes it like your own,
Yeah.
We love the bloopers. We love getting the bloopers.
Yeah. Or those
And seeing the
things that show-
personality.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Like even Annie started squawking like a peacock in her trailer. And I mean, that's Annie, and it's so great to see that in there because, she's kind of loose and fun that way. So
We should look up what that peacock call is. Because is it
I'm
cawing?
sure.
Is it bleeding? Is it? Now I gotta know.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Okay. Do you have any more tips for anybody who might be making a tutorial on their own, or?
no, just keep those things in mind. Yeah, and don't get discouraged with your first efforts, you know, because sometimes you get on the camera and then you turn it on and then you talk and then you look at it and you're like, that can't be right. You know, so, you know, you have to like say, it's okay. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get better. It's going to be fine, you know, and I'm just going to come out at the end with a successful online course. And that's what you have to keep forward, you know, I'm going to just like learning how to draw, you know, those little things. And just as you elevate, it's much the same process.
I have a couple of tips. So sorry, Gina.
No, go for it.
One tip that I have is make sure you film horizontally, because people are used to doing Instagram lives and they're vertical. So you want to make sure you turn your camera the other way. And so it's much better when you're playing it back to see it the full screen. And I just forgot my other tip.
I'll interject then while you're
ahead.
thinking of that. Dress rehearsal. Do a dress rehearsal, even just 2 or 5 minutes, so that you can see the lighting, you can see what's behind you. Are you close enough to the camera? Is it picking up all your sound? Is it jiggling when you're moving? You know, do you wear a clip or do you have it mounted? So that kind of thing. Don't record your whole video and then watch it and go, oh, I've got a plant sticking out of the back of my head. Do a little dress rehearsal first.
I just remembered my tip now because you said that. So I recommend that if you're going to be doing a trailer for your class, you do it after you film your class. Because I think people get stuck when they're doing the trailer first. And things that they say in the trailer, they might not end up happening when they actually film the entire class. So do your class first, then do your trailer for it or intro or whatever.
Okay, yeah, great tip. So be prepared. Right. And then somebody mentioned to write out a script. Do you do that, or does it more like bullet points?
I think it depends on the artist. You know, whatever makes you feel good, you know, and will get you to success is what you should do. So if writing out a script works for you, by all means write out a script. If you just want bullet points, do that. You know, so whatever works for your success.
Yeah. However, an outline is best so that you
don't
for
sure,
end
the
up
outline
reading like
for
this
sure.
on a script. But yeah, plan it out so you know what you're going to say. But use bullet points.
Regina's all about the outline. We're not even allowed to watch the classes until Regina sees that the outline matches the content that came in. And then Gina and I are allowed to watch. All three of us do watch every single class that comes in.
Oh, really? How long are the classes typically? I mean,
you could get a tip that might be, if they film like a helpful tip that's a freebie, it might be 5 or 10 minutes. I think Catherine Mills has the longest classes, and hers are, I think, just shy of 4 hours. A couple of them are shy of 4 hours. So it really depends.
They're so full of information. They're incredible.
My God, yeah. She's an amazing instructor, really. I mean, and artist. I mean, she's got it all going on. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like back on the script thing, I'm just as we're talking, I'm thinking about my first couple tutorials that I ever put out, and the first podcast episode ever, I scripted the whole thing. I wrote the entire thing, and then still had to edit it quite a bit. And nowadays, I just kind of like go off the cuff, and so I just want to point that out too, because a lot of people see like I do a lot of video, and it does not come natural. Like my first couple videos. No, I was just like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, this is so hard. It was edited, and after you do it so much, it's so much easier. And I think a lot of people don't point that out enough, that it's all hard in the beginning, and then after you do it a bit, it becomes fun. But it's just like, that, again, talking about that jump that you have to make, either buying a course or making one. There's still just a giant leap just to make yourself do it.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's so worth it once you do.
Yeah.
Be adventurous. Do it.
Yeah, so true. Awesome. Well, that is about all I have today. I always ask one question though at the end of every podcast episode, and if you guys want to answer collectively or individually, but there's a lot of artists out here who want to make art their full-time career, but they don't even know where to start. So besides the whole just do it, where's a good starting point? And maybe if you want to focus on like where to start with your brand or where to start with each, each specialty that you have, what do you think would be a good starting point for an artist wanting to make it a career?
I can answer that one. I know when I started my career, I did it twofold. I looked around and I took classes, decorative painting classes. Of course, online classes weren't available then, but in-person classes were. And second, I searched out for my local community, for local decorative painters and local muralists, and just, asked them, can I come by and help you? Can I do this? Can I do that? Are you looking for a team member? Sometimes they may not be, but if they have a huge job, they will bring you in and you can learn under their wing. So those two things are what I would recommend. And in terms of keeping and continuing your business, I always suggest doing both your right and your left brain, because you will need both to succeed. You have to look at the left brain. You have to look at, do you have a contract? How is your accounts, are they in place? Because once you have that, you have a baseline foundation. The creative stuff, which is of course the fun stuff, will have a tremendous successful platform to work with, and they both work together. So that's basically my advice. Find somebody to work with, find some good classes for yourself, and just practice, because it will happen. And just like you said earlier, the hardest part is at the beginning. Once you make that walk, the next steps are always easier.
So true. Yes. Awesome. Well, it has been awesome talking to you guys today. Well, I've really appreciated you guys coming on and just talking about your platform and talking about how, to make tutorials, and just, I hope we've at least inspired one or two or 100 people to just go out and
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, I hope you have a great day. I will talk to you ladies later.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.